They laughed at me. They ignored me. They made me believe I was invisible. But what nobody knew is that while they were sleeping, I was building something that would change everything. This is my story. The story of a mother who was underestimated until they discovered what I was doing in the dead of night. If you want to know how an ignored woman turned the game around in silence, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. You won't want to miss this. My name was never called in meetings. My ideas were repeated by others, always men, always younger, and suddenly became brilliant. I worked at a financial consulting firm for 8 years. 8 years being the invisible bridge between chaos and order. I organized reports, solved crises, calmed nervous clients on Friday nights. But when Monday morning came, it was as if I had never existed. My boss, Marcus, had a habit of looking through me, literally. He would walk past my desk, greet everyone, except me. "Good morning, team." I would raise my hand, smile, nothing. It was as if I were a piece of furniture. A forgotten post-it note on the wall. It was on a Tuesday that everything collapsed. I had spent 3 weeks preparing a proposal for an important client. 3 weeks reviewing numbers, creating projections, adjusting every comma. In the meeting, Marcus presented the project. He didn't even mention my name. Worse, when the client praised it, he smiled and said, "Thank you." My team worked very hard on this. My team. As if I weren't there. As if my sleepless nights hadn't happened. I went home that day and cried in the bathroom. My 7-year-old daughter knocked on the door. "Mom, are you okay?" "Yes, honey." Just tired. But it wasn't tiredness. It was anger. A silent anger that burned inside. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay staring at the ceiling, listening to my daughter breathe in the next room. And then I thought, how much longer will I accept this? How much longer will I give my best? To be treated like nothing? I got up at 3 a.m. The house was in absolute silence. Only the low hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of a passing car. I sat at the computer. And I started doing something nobody knew about. Something that was only mine. I started creating financial consulting spreadsheets ... for small businesses. Something simple, direct. Something I knew how to do better than anyone at that company. In the following months, my routine became this. Wake up at 5:30 a.m., make coffee, take my daughter to school, work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. being ignored, come home, dinner, put my daughter to bed, and then, at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight ... I would wake up and work on my secret project. I created a simple website, offered affordable financial consulting for small entrepreneurs, people who didn't have money to pay big companies like mine. I started slowly. 1 client, then 2, then 5. I didn't tell anyone, not my sister, not my best friend, because I knew if I spoke ... they would doubt. They would discourage me. "You already work so much. You're going to kill yourself doing this. Consulting? But you're not even trained in business administration." So I kept it, like a golden flame inside me, until the worst happened. It was a Friday, end of the month. The company was going to announce promotions. I was sure I would be promoted. Not out of arrogance, but because I deserved it. I was the only one who never missed work. The only one who solved the problems nobody wanted to touch. Marcus called everyone to the meeting room. "Folks, today is a special day. We're going to recognize our team's talent." My heart raced. He started calling names. Philip, Julia, Robert, all younger than me, all with less experience. And then, it was over. I wasn't called. I raised my hand, trembling. "Marcus ... Can I talk to you later?" He looked at me as if he had forgotten I existed. "Oh ... sure. But quick. Okay. I have lunch scheduled. Guys ... What do you think of this situation? Have you ever been ignored like this at work? Comment. I was invisible too, if you identified with this. I want to know you're here with me. I entered his office. Closed the door. "Marcus, I wanted to understand, why wasn't I promoted?" He sighed. as if I were being inconvenient. Look, you're great at what you do. But promotion isn't just about doing the work. It's about visibility, leadership. Visibility? Yeah, you're too quiet. You don't position yourself. You don't draw attention. I felt my stomach turn. I do the work of 3 people, Marcus. I know, and we value that. But leadership is something else. I left that office breathless, went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and there, in that tired woman with sunken eyes, I saw something. I saw fire. I went home. I didn't cry. I opened my laptop, and I worked. My secret business already had 12 regular clients. Small snack bar owners, seamstresses, hairdressers, people who needed help, and who valued me. They paid me little, but they paid me with respect. They said, "Thank you. You saved my business." They said my name. And that was worth more than any promotion at that damned company. I started being more strategic. I improved my website, created service packages, automated processes. I learned about digital marketing, SEO, social media, all by myself, all at dawn. My daughter sometimes woke up and saw me there, in the blue light of the computer. "Mom, what are you doing?" "Building the future, honey. Go back to sleep." And she would, confident, because even without understanding, she felt it. She felt that something was changing. I won't lie, there were moments when I thought about giving up. There were nights I slept 3 hours, woke up with a headache, cried from exhaustion. There were days I looked at Marcus and thought, is he right? Am I not good enough? But then I remembered. I remembered my clients. I remembered Mrs. Maria, who called me crying because she managed to pay her bills that month. I remembered Mr. George, who opened his second store because I helped him organize his finances. And I continued. 6 months later, something unexpected happened. I was at the office as always. Robert, one of those promoted, came to my desk. "Hey, can I ask you something?" "Sure." You have a business, right?" My heart stopped. "How do you know?" "My cousin hired you. She can't stop talking about you." He smiled, a strange smile. "Wow, you're like a legend among small business owners." I didn't know what to say. "Don't worry. I won't tell Marcus." But he did. A week later, I was called to HR. My heart raced. I thought, they're going to fire me. I entered the room. Marcus was there, and the HR director, Fernanda. "Sit down." I sat. "It has come to our attention that you have a side business." Silence. "Is this true?" I took a deep breath. "It is." Marcus crossed his arms. "You know this could be considered a conflict of interest, right?" I looked into his eyes, and for the first time, I didn't feel afraid. "It's not a conflict. I serve an audience you ignore. Small businesses. People who can't afford your prices." Fernanda tilted her head. "And how much are you making from this?" I hesitated. "Per month." "About $2,000. Marcus blinked, incredulous. "2,000? Yes." Fernanda looked at him, then at me. "You built this alone?" "Yes, at dawn. On weekends." She smiled, slightly. Impressive. I left that meeting expecting the worst. But 2 days later, Fernanda called me again, alone this time. "Look, I spoke with the board. We want to make you a proposal." My heart accelerated. "We want to create a new division, consulting for small businesses, and we want you to lead it." I was silent. "You would have autonomy, higher salary, your own team." It seemed like a dream. But then I looked at her, and I asked, "And Marcus?" "He won't be your boss anymore." I smiled. But it wasn't a smile of relief. It was the smile of someone who finally understood their own power. I went home, opened my laptop, looked at my business, my clients, my freedom, and then I looked at the company email. The proposal was good. Very good. But but it wasn't mine. It was them trying to trap me again. I picked up the phone, called Fernanda. "Thank you for the proposal." But I'm going to decline. Silence on the other end. You ... Are you sure? I'm going to leave the company. And I'm going to focus on what I built. But are you sure it will work? I smiled. It already is. I resigned the following Monday. Marcus was shocked. You're making a mistake. Maybe, but it's my mistake. I left that building for the last time. And you know what I felt? Lightness. For the first time in 8 years, I breathed. Today, 3 years later, my business serves over 200 small entrepreneurs per month. I have a small team, but loyal. But seen. My daughter sees me working from home. And she says, "Mom, when I grow up, I want to be like you." And I respond, "You already are, honey. You already are." Because being like me isn't about success. It's about never accepting being invisible. It's about building, even when nobody believes. It's about waking up at 3 a.m. and creating light in the darkness. They laughed at me, but they didn't know what I was building while they slept. If this story touched you, if you've ever been ignored, underestimated, invisible, know this: your strength doesn't need a stage. It only needs you believing in it. If you made it this far, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Because here, nobody fights alone. Here, we honor those who never gave up. Until the next video.